what's more important, your daughter or your business?
And I remember that. Because
I'm looking at this
I could not believe that.
Because even if it was a dog, but that's his whole daughter. Like, the dude literally, he responded so quick, my daughter. I'm Jay Supreme. I'm sitting here with
Artistry by Nita.
And this is actually going to be your first episode as an official co-host and not a guest. So how does that feel?
Officially, I feel like, I'm going to be honest, I thought it was going to happen. Like, I thought that eventually I would be worked in here somehow because I have a man that is obsessed with me.
Wow.
So I'm like, he's going to try, like, every idea that you've had, I'm like, he's probably going to ask me to do something with that. Okay. So try to mentally prepare myself if it's something that, I don't know, I might be nervous about. Like, this is something that is kind of a little, I don't want to say challenging, but it's just like I'm on camera and it's my voice.
Yeah.
Because I don't like my voice on audio. I don't. And then it's like, I don't think every single Tuesday my hair, nails, and lashes are all going to be spiffy.
Why not? If you got
because you have to deal with the availability of your hairdresser, the nail tech. Like how I was telling you, I'm like, I wanted to support somebody else. But I couldn't even go to her. You don't have availability until the 27th. It was like 3 days ago when I looked at that. I'm like, what do you, I can't do anything with that.
People like that, you need, if you book that whole time, that's great. But like we were talking about, like they need to like hire people immediately because that's when you need to start scaling.
I'm like, so it's just like something like that is bound to happen, person not available or anything. So yeah, but yeah, I was expecting it, but it does feel pretty cool to have something to do every week, specifically with you.
Yeah, I like it too. And I'm definitely glad that, I'm glad we were able to make it work. And like, once we kind of go over it later, you guys will be excited too, hopefully. But we have a really great episode prepared for you guys. But as always, before we jump in, I do want to reflect on how since the last time we sat down on that episode specifically, reflect on things since we last spoke. I guess we can start with from your end, kind of like what's been going on. We see each other every day, but
so it's always so hard to kind of think. Like, it's so funny when like you're like, why aren't you talking to me? And I'm like, I just spent the last like week with you consistently all 24 of the hours. I have nothing to update you on. But I have to differentiate what I've discussed with you that haven't been discussed here. I don't know.
Well, I know the biggest thing we haven't discussed here was us going viral. That was pretty damn cool.
Oh yeah. That was
pretty damn cool. So I'll let you kind of tell that story of how that came about.
No, you brought it up. Go ahead.
Well, it was your idea. That's why I didn't want to take the credit. Like, oh yeah, it was like that was your video. I was the star. Don't get me wrong. Like, if you look at the comments, like I definitely I kind of carried us, but like you can explain why you're actually who carried us because people who watched the video didn't really know what went on behind the scenes.
It wasn't really much to it. We were just out to eat and I wanted to do it.
I'm talking about your directing. Like, this girl is too humble. Like, we'll go out to eat. And then it's like, I remember one day, I forgot where we were, but they were like asking what we do. And they're like, he has a business. It's going very well, whatever. And I just kind of had my little business. And I'm like, at the time, hers is actually doing like way better than mine. And she was just like saying, oh, like, but you, you directed that. Like, you kind of, you.
I did.
Explain for that.
I did direct it. I was just asking for more energy from you and like in some of the scenes. But yeah, it's just like a scene from Norbit.
It's so cute.
Something roughin'.
You did the lisp so good that everybody in the comments thought she actually had
everyone was like, oh my God, I can hear her lisp through the screen. Wow, and I'm like,
awesome. But it's like people like,
don't get me wrong, I do have a slight lisp because I have an open mic, so it's there.
I can't hear it, but probably other people could.
And I can hear it so much on audio. I can hear it so much more than like regular talking. But it's not like that. So I'm not about to be talking like this. Like, don't try to do me. Like, don't try to do me like that because everybody was going in on me about my list, and I'm like, y'all, like it's not like that. Like they talking about. They talking about it's her tongue for me, and I'm like, bro, because like most people who have a list, their tongue ends up becoming out of their
so
mouth.
You had to embody it, right?
Yeah, and they trying to like cook me. I'm like, man, but yeah, so yeah, we did that. It was my idea. It was.
And how many views does it have? I haven't looked.
It has 4.8 right now. 4.8 million.
So we're about 2.
Oh, and I meant to send you a screenshot. Another one of my coworkers had they texted me this morning and was like, Nita, your TikTok just came across my For You page.
Oh my god.
Because I had asked her, I was like, LaRon saw it, did you? And she was like, no, I don't be on TikTok. Yeah. And then I guess me talking about it made her go on TikTok, and then she saw it. Okay.
Yeah. Did you even give her your TikTok name?
She
just opened TikTok.
She opened TikTok and that popped up on her For You page. Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I knew it would do well, but I didn't think millions.
I definitely thought it was giving 4,000.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna give us a good. I thought we could get a K out of that. I thought we could get a K out of that.
Because whenever we do something that's outside of like our normal, like the normal content that we post, like whenever we do a dance, normally it'll have a little kick to it or that skit. So yeah. We did what we had to do.
That was nice. And after that, so it's been a really fun last few days. So after that, the Preem Pod were just featured in Now Entertainment. So that was pretty damn cool. And like that article, if you read the article, like they did a really good job of like what we said. Like they did a really good job of like putting that in words. Like I'm pretty good at articulating my thoughts sometimes, but they did pretty good. I've seen some articles who, might write basic stuff or just take what you say and water it down. But I think they did a pretty good job of like capturing our plans and like kind of, what this is all about. But if you guys want to check that out, that is in our link in our bio on the Preem Pod page. So on Instagram, the Preem Pod. If you guys check that out, it's a really cool article. We appreciate them so much. For me, I mean, since we last spoke, and this is just this morning, I got back in the studio for the first time in I don't know how long. I feel like I was there a little bit. I was there recent. Do you know my last time I went? Because I thought
the last time you went was when me and Alexa, shout out Alexa, we went to the Lil Baby concert. And I don't know when that was. Okay, that was at least like beginning of September.
Okay, so that has
beginning of September. I think it was the beginning of September.
Man, well, it was amazing. So I'm actually be dropping some content on my page probably today or tomorrow from the session. Like I like some content of me and Rose and just some shit.
And I'm so sorry I couldn't get up, man.
Yeah, I went at 9 a.m. to the studio. So.
and but the thing is, we live so far away from the studio. What was that? A 40-minute drive?
No, it's 25.
Why were you up so early?
To do everything else I had to do.
Oh, because but. Why'd you wake me up then? Because you talking about, babe, this time to get ready. I'm like, it's 7.
From then, it was an hour of time for you to get ready. Because you usually say I can get ready in like 20 to 25, but it's going to take around 40 to an hour. So I always try to give you an hour.
It don't be taking that long.
I mean, not to get ready, but like to get out of the door. So let's say maybe you get ready in 30, but it's like to get actually out the door. Because after you get ready, then you realize of the things. Then you might realize you're not ready. Like, oh, and then it's like, and then it's like, I just try to give you enough time. So that, because what I did, and then we'll talk about this, but like what I was doing was not give you enough time, whether it was because you didn't ask for enough, or just I told you that you would need this and it wasn't enough. Whatever it was, I just saw I wasn't giving you enough time. And then I saw myself getting upset when we were late or something. And I'm like, let me just make sure I give you enough time. And then it's like, if we're late, then boom. But like, let me just give you enough time. So that's what I decided. But
I find that funny when not most of the time, but a lot of the times it be you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously not talking about those times, but like, get mad at you and it's my fault. Like, obviously, I'm not talking about those times. I mean, the times where I'm like, it's not me, which is, I don't feel like is that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that.
No, I mean, it's fine. I'm just saying, because I'm just like, I feel like a lot of times you be like, I'm sorry, babe. Like you say that to me so many times.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not me, but it don't be me.
He'd be like, I'm just gonna make my own self late.
Oh my god. I'm gonna stop thinking out loud so much. You always be using that stuff. You be remembering all that stuff when I be saying that. And
I'm just joking.
Those are my like ADHD personal thoughts, bro.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm playing with you. it's not fun to play with you sometimes because you'll be like, I'm just playing. No, I'm just like, but I feel like I'm too sensitive to be playing with you because then you'll be thinking like, oh, I'm for real. So I'm gonna try to change how you view me in that way so I can play with you more. Anyway, before kind of we jump in today, I wanted to kind of talk about or announce our official podcast schedule. So we did a little bit of this last week, but just for people on live and for the people who didn't watch last week. So far up until this point, we've been shooting 1 to 2 times a week and dropping once a week so far every Saturday. Right. So starting today, we're going to be shooting 3 times a week. And starting on the 23rd, we'll be dropping 3 times a week. So on Mondays, we'll be dropping an episode that will be me and Nita. Or Nita and I, that's how you're supposed to say that. And then we'll be talking about relationships, do's and don'ts and how to find success with your partner. That's more so the theme of those episodes. And every now and again, we will jump in, open the word and kind of see what the word has to say about some of those topics. These episodes will be released exclusively to our Nita and Jace YouTube. So they'll still be in the Preem Pod playlist on YouTube, but they will be dropped on that YouTube. And then we'll also be going live, just like we are right now. We'll be going live from our Nita and Jace TikTok every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Hopefully, when we shoot this today, we shot at 2 p.m., but hopefully next Tuesday we'll shoot at 12 p.m. But that is our episodes. So hope you're excited about that. Wednesday will be with Rose, be with just Rose and I. And we'll be talking about growth, personal development, music, marketing, entrepreneurship. And sometimes Nita might also appear on these episodes as well if she wants to. It's kind of like really up to you. And then we'll also be going live every time we shoot those, which will be every Wednesday at 12. And then every Friday will be our guest episode. So our DMs are just kind of filled right now. So we see it and it's like, it's hard to, we see you guys. That's all I'll say. It's just so many DMs right now from people who are applying, people who are trying to work musically, people who want jobs. It's all this. I need to get someone in my DMs to like look at those and like take care of those maybe. But we're gonna try to get back to all you guys really soon. But our guest episodes, these will be every single Friday. We'll be talking with a guest, and so basically what we'll do, kind of like the format for these, we'll take a topic that our guests are experts in. So if once we start having guests, something that so whether they are a business owner, if they do music, we'll try to take something that they're an expert in and expand on that and create a talk around that. And we'll be going live with our guests every Thursday as well at 12 p.m. That's our plan. And regardless of which YouTube these are posted in, again, they will be going in the Preem Pod playlist. Some episodes will be posted on the Preem Pod once we get our actual YouTube up. Until then, we're strictly on Preem Consulting. So our company who is funding this, who is powering this, and also on Nita and Jace. So otherwise, we'll be dropping weekly on Apple Podcasts. So I don't know if it costs because I don't. Did it cost for you? Like, did
I
you
didn't look.
Okay. Have you listened to anything on Apple Podcasts yet?
I don't have that on my phone. So, and I can't download any other apps on this phone right now because it's re-downloading all the pictures that I deleted. Yeah. So, and it keeps doing it. I don't know how to stop it from doing that. So, until I get that situated.
Excuse. Well, I hope we can get it on the iPad for you, and then you can listen to the episodes. Okay, yeah. You can listen to them on your way to places, whenever you go places without me, so you can hear me talk. But in this episode,
but I mean, I'm going to be editing them. So you want me editing them and going?
That's a good point.
And being here, I'll be here for every episode.
We'll need to stream. So like, just find a way to stream us. Just show some love, man.
Okay.
Or get your friends to stream, and then you don't have to.
That sounds like a good idea.
Right. But for you guys today in this episode, we'll be touching on building Stoicism. So kind of what that means, what that looks like, why it's important, how to be a good partner to an entrepreneur. So we just got a 2-topic episode for you guys today. And kind of what we'll get into, we'll open up the book of James a bit, kind of talk about, see again, what the word says about building Stoicism and things like that. We'll talk about some of our struggles with listening and understanding. And we'll talk about gender roles in an entrepreneur household. How do you say that? Entrepreneur household. And we'll talk about some ways that we've updated our daily lives to support the other's endeavors, right? So like I always say, if you guys have tuned in on accident, you might just want to stick around, especially if there is some friction in your relationship, a relationship that you care about. I always say the rule of thumb is if you find yourself like not like let's say you're venting to people, or let's say you're talking about your relationship and you don't find yourself ever like defending who you're with, or you don't ever find yourself like wanting to go, like people say bad stuff and you like don't really care, you don't really going against it, you that might not be one worth fighting for. But you find yourself every time you're talking about someone says something that's not the best about your partner, and you're like, no, 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 no. Like, okay, this is I'm talking to you, not the people who are already kind of like in your mind made up that you're leaving, right? But if there's some friction in your relationship, whether that's friendships or significant others, let's say you've been struggling with your anger, things like that, or you have an entrepreneur in your life that you really, really care about, this is going to be one to tune in, especially because like we always do, we pulling back the curtain on things that people don't really talk about when it comes to these topics. But first, we can kind of get into Stoicism. So, I guess I'll kind of let you kind of lead here for you. Yeah, let me see. Did this download on your iPad?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll let you take over. This is your topic that you this was Nita's topic, by the way. So if it's not the best, then it's Nita's. It's gonna be amazing, right? It's gonna be good. We opened up the Bible. We're at segment 2. So on the side, there should be like this little thing that you can like scroll with, and it'll take you to each segment. Putting you on the spot.
So I have to leave this.
So you have to leave this. That sounds like something you don't want to do.
It's not.
So just that first part where it says your name.
I'm confused. You said that already. You want me to repeat it?
That's okay. It's okay. So I guess we'll do what. So what is Stoicism and why it's important?
I didn't say anything about Stoicism, so I honestly don't know what that means. So that's why I'm like,
I know that's what I set you up perfectly. So you were gonna say first we're gonna talk about Stoicism and what is it and why is it important. I was gonna answer you, but it's okay. That's why you're supposed to rehearse. But Stoicism. So basically that whole like thing that we were talking about in church, like that is basically Stoicism. So Stoicism is the endurance of pain or hardship without the display of feelings and without complaint, right? So we actually spoke a little about this last week when me and Rose were talking about what it takes to be a man, and Rose was saying being a man means to take on responsibility without complaining, right? And that's basically Stoicism, right? Basically taking on pain, adversity, all those things without, basically keeping a poker face when bad shit happens. Because and the reason why it's important to master this, especially if you're an entrepreneur, is because if you don't, you'll burn out right after the honeymoon phase of entrepreneurship, because bad things happen. And people think when bad things happen, when they're doing something that maybe they're on the wrong path. But for our believers watching, and once we do open the Bible, if you ever seen anytime adversity is ever mentioned in the Bible, it's never like a if type of thing. If this happens, if it's always when this happens, this like it's never saying like you might not face it. This it's guaranteed. So it's more so about the reason why it's important in entrepreneurship is because those bad things make people go back to their jobs, or they make them quit entrepreneurship completely. So that stoicism, when something happens, like we'll get into some of these things that have been happening, but that stoicism is what helps you get to the next thing as quick as possible. But now that I kind of said that, and now that I know you remember what we talked about, kind of how does that relate? So with that stoicism, how does that relate?
How does that relate to what?
Well, now that you heard that, and now you obviously know the scripture that we're going to be opening up. Kind of how does that relate for you? Like, I guess what's the first thing you think of when you hear that? That's always the easiest way.
I feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm not in the best talking mood today. Because I have an urge to not talk. I just want to
not. The urge to not talk.
Wow. But I mean, when I first hear that, wait. What are you asked 2 different questions. You asked, how does that relate? And you asked another
one. I rephrased it because you said that didn't make sense. So I rephrased this in a way that hopefully would get something out of you.
No, I didn't say it didn't make sense. I was saying, how does it relate to what? I didn't know what you were saying. How does it relate?
Oh yeah, so like that scripture. So James,
but you told me, and then you asked a different question. So I'm like, which question do you want me to answer? You want me to answer the first one? How does it relate to what we've been learning in church?
Whatever one's easy.
So I mean, it kind. I mean, that's what that's exactly what the verse says. So I mean, I feel like That's kind of what it is. Like, I don't know.
I guess related to you. So when you hear stoicism, do you feel like you have mastered that? Do you feel like you're okay? So where do you feel like you are when it comes to stoicism? Like your tear. So scale of 1 to 10, what's your stoicism level right now?
4.
A 4. Okay. And for you, I guess I like to relate it to, like I was talking about Rex Life Raj, because he's one of my favorite artists, and he lost both of his parents back to back. Very similar how I lost both of my grandparents back to back. And then he made an album talking about how that was for him. And one of the songs, he said something that I think fit right into this when he mentioned, well, the verse went like this. He said, God wouldn't have put it on me if I couldn't handle it. I ain't pray for rain to stop. I prayed to learn to dance through it. And I think everybody listens to music for different things. I listen to music usually trying to feel something, and I'm usually listening very closely to what people are saying, because those certain things like that's powerful, and that can do shit to me, that can inspire me in itself. But what was so strong for me when he said that was the rain was his parents dying. Right? He's saying I didn't pray for the rain to stop, and during that time, the rain was death, like parents possibly dying, they have cancer, and he's saying I prayed to learn to dance through it, and that is he prayed for stoicism. He prayed so that when things like this happen, I don't lose my shit, because they're not going to stop happening, right? I have those are my parents, right? So those are the kind of the oldest people I love at this time, if they already lost your grandparents. So after that, there are gonna be other people you lose. So those first people that you lose, like when it comes to stoicism, those the way to stop having, you're not going to stop having L's, but the way to be able to not lose your shit, like, I have in the past when L's happen, is to, when those L's happen, learn from them and try to learn how to be better next time. But for you, I'll let you find the scripture now, so we can I'll have you read that, the James 19-27. And after we read that, then we can kind of talk about, we could talk about it more in depth with how it goes. But if you did you already have it ready, or you want to get it in there?
Huh?
I know if you wanted to read it from your iPad or your Bible.
No.
Then the iPad could be a little quicker to get to, but
no, not at all.
But yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have her read James 19-27, which is a scripture that talks about this in the best way. So yeah, I'll let you whenever you are ready.
Alrighty, so understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. We must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. Human anger does not produce the righteousness God desires. So get rid of all the filth and evil in your lives and humbly accept the word God has planted in your hearts, for it has the power to save your souls. But don't just listen to God's word. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you are only fooling yourselves. For if you listen to the word and don't obey, it is like glancing at your face in a mirror. You see yourself, walk away, and forget what you look like. But if you look carefully into the perfect law that sets you free, and if you do what it says and don't forget what you heard, then God will bless you for doing it. If you claim to be religious but don't control your tongue, you are fooling yourself, and your religion is worthless. Pure and genuine religion in the sight of God the Father means caring for orphans and widows in their distress and refusing to let the world corrupt you.
That last bar, the last line is a bar to me. But okay, so now I think it's more, I'm a visual person. After hearing that, I even am picturing more. But for you, so what does that mean? So for like a quick Cliff Notes version of that.
A quick Cliff Notes of that. I mean, I definitely like the whole talk the walk that you walk, basically, is what it's kind of saying. Talk the talk, walk the walk. So it's like, if you're walking and you're saying this is what you're doing, you should also be talking that same way. Because I see so many people, and I feel like that's why certain religions might get a bad rap, because they're like, they don't be doing that, but it's just those certain few people that claim to be whatever it is, and they're not doing that. They're still judgmental. They're still allowing the world to corrupt them, and so on and so forth. And I feel like a lot of those people do that aren't like, they don't have some type of ulterior motive or something that they're trying to do. They're just human. That's why there's another verse that says everybody, I can't think, it's in James.
Okay.
But it's saying how everybody can't, be a teacher.
Oh yeah, everybody shouldn't teach in the church.
Exactly, because you're gonna struggle with that, and you have to be pretty good to do that. So I just feel like they're just feeding into those temptations. They're not paying attention to their tongue, and controlling their tongue, and so on and so forth. And I feel like as a human, it's just easy to do that. Like it really is. But it makes me kind of constantly think about what I'm saying a lot more now. Because I'm like, dang, I don't want to hurt their feelings. Or maybe if there is something that needs to be said, I just control the manner or the words that I use, even down to the tone, that's in my voice. And it just shows how important that what you say really is, and what you're doing really is, to what, like comparing that to what you really want to do. We want to be in church. We want to be consistent. We want to control our tongue and do all these things. But the first step is that talk part of the thing. Yeah. So I feel like that's very important.
That was dope. And I remember when it was Zarbaugh, Chris Zarbaugh, who was talking about this. I remember he was the one thing that really stuck out, or was this on I know the church has a podcast, and I forgot which one this was in our small group or at church, but I remember hearing that our words, have the power to destroy, but they have that power to heal. And I remember someone speaking in our group, because everyone was talking about the times that we've said, destructive things, but he was like, I'm actually really good at holding my tongue. I'm pretty good at thinking before I speak. That
was in group.
He was basically saying, I care about people, honestly, but the thing I do struggle with is sometimes saying things that could be healing people, that could be uplifting people, not speaking enough. So that, that
how they say, like, if you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all, or something like that. And I feel like you can take that too much, because it's like,
because sometimes people don't know if this might be good, but
but the thing is, it's like, I feel like there's a thin line between, like, will what I say be good? Because it's like there might be some constructive criticism that needs to be delayed to that person. It's again about how you do it. So in that moment, they might not take it well. It might hurt their feelings or something like that. But it's like, hey, your feet stink, dude. Like, that is not a cool, just beautiful thing to say, but it's something, instead of me being like, your feet stink, it's, hey, come, let me talk to you real quick. Come over here to the side. Come over here to the side, hey, I just wanted to say, I feel like your feet are kind of a little funky. Not funky, I wouldn't even use that. There's an aroma coming from your feet, so it's like, there's a thin line between that. And I feel like people need to understand, like, what you're saying can do good, but it might just not be like in that moment. But no, right in that moment it is, because now they're aware. Just how they were saying, like, you can't see how you are, like other people, you have to use your community, your village, for them to tell you, how you are. So I'm like, in that moment, the moment you said what you said, saying their feast thing might not be the best thing that they ever heard, but now they're aware, and now they can go and do something about it. Now it's on them. Now they can choose, and the feet is a metaphor. So it's like,
right, guys,
they can choose to change to go wash their feet, right? Or they cannot. So it's like, you put it in their hands. You did what you had to do. You said, you spoke your truth, and now you have to go from there.
Yeah, it's funny because me and Rose talked about this too. When I was asking him, because it's hard for me when I give people that I love advice and for them not to take it, because we always like to take things personal, when it's like, a lot of times it's like, people are just, you got to let people figure things out. I've learned. But that service actually helped me get, even because Rose helped, what he said helped, but that helped me a lot, because it's like, that it's really selfish to honestly think that way. Like, I'm not going to tell you this thing that I know could probably turn you the fuck up, that I know it could turn you up, that can, take you, help you, and, empower you, if I think that it might be uncomfortable for me, in this moment.
That's what I was telling you when it came to our communication,
which is crazy. Huh? Well, I guess for me, I think it's crazy for me because I do that all the time in sales and my coaching, my mentorship. I have to have so many tough conversations with these people. But I ask myself, why can I only do that if someone's paying me? Why can't I do that for people who aren't paying me? Because I'm like, I'm willing to take this uncomfortable conversation because I'm getting this bread. But it's like, I need to be able to do that when it's cash incentive, because that's important.
And that's what I was saying when it came to our communication, because I'm like, we be being selfish. We don't want to have that hard conversation. We don't want to go through what it makes us feel and things like that. Like the other night, I don't, did I talk about this in the last podcast, or was I talking to one of my friends? I don't know. But one of these nights I had to tell you something, and oh yeah, when I communicated and I was like, I understand what you're saying, but this is how it's making me feel. And I'm like, normally I would be selfish because I'm like, I don't want to deal with
what's going
to happen after, whether it's a feeling I'm going to feel, if I'm going to be anxious about it, or if it's going to have him sad or upset. And now I have to deal with that. But I'm like, that's so selfish. And even though it was still hard for me to do that, like I definitely shed a tear because you had like walked out the room and I was like, oh, I hurt his feelings.
Oh, damn.
And I definitely shed a tear. I was like, oh, I feel really bad. And I'm like, this is what I don't want to feel. But it's like, you have to feel that way. You have to go through that because, like I said, it really is selfish.
And then after the first few times, it won't be hard anymore because I've been trying to be more blunt, like lately, just even today when we were recording. Shout out Rose. I don't think I directly said we need to get going, but me and Rose have the tendency to like ramble, and it was like I had to get in and out. I had 2 hours, and usually I would let us. I'm not just gonna say him because it's usually me too, but I would just let a whole hour be taken away, ate away from like talking and shit. Especially because now we're business partners, so now we have more to talk about. But I just was like, as he talking to me, I was like sending him the beats and like even like kind of like directing us back to the computer, because it's like I'm trying to be more direct with a lot of things because it is selfish, because it's like a lot of times I never have a selfish motive. Whenever I'm trying to get anyone to do anything, I'm never really the type of person trying to get someone to do shit for me. Like it's even if it's for me, like it's sometimes, but it's like it's gonna help you in the long run. Usually, things I want people to do, right? And I'm like, I feel like let me just say it, even though it's gonna, because then we produce a better product when we do have more time. So it's helping both of us. Now your mix is better because now you have more time to mix my song, instead of split. That's just I went too deep into that, but yeah. But to kind of tie this all back into Stoicism, when it comes to tying the scripture into Stoicism, when something upsets us, or something doesn't go our way, the first thing that we usually want to do is complain. And like, I think we've both been really bad with this. Like, I've been screaming like when things like don't go my way, because it's like, and it's usually something like technology or shit like that. Like it really upsets me. It's just like I was even showing you, like I be feeling like I'm crazy, but I showed you and like you saw it. I was trying to use Instagram to do something. There was like 5 buttons here, and it's like 4 were just useless to me. I didn't need to press those. All 4 of those buttons worked. The one button that I need to use to make that post, I'm not even going to get into it deeper, but it wouldn't work. It would just like the button wasn't even emoting. It was just nothing. And I'm like, why? And I started screaming, and it's like,
and it wasn't even like normally when it's a button that you can't press, like somehow it's different from the rest. It's faded or something like that, but it looked exactly the same. Like it looked like a button you could press. Happening?
And like so much. Okay, I will get into this. We have time for this because this is like all my if I would have had any Stoicism, this would have took all of it. But since we've been at this place, I have not played my PS5. I have not watched any preseason games. I haven't watched TV at all because, long story short, I got a TV delivered and I didn't have the time to put it up myself. I just couldn't find the time. And then once I thought I had the time, I needed the stud finder. Then I bought the stud finder. Then I needed batteries and was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to have someone, come do it. And I had this guy come do it. And like, before I had this guy come do it, like I had all of our boxes and stuff like paid to get removed. But there was just a billion boxes in the house. I'm just like, I just can't. And I had them removed. And this guy comes and he puts the TV up. It looks great. And I'm like, bet. So the TV's up. And I'm like, tomorrow I'm on you. I'm telling my bro, Chris, bro, we about to play the game. So then the next day I go, I'm like, okay, let me put the game up. I'm like, okay, I didn't have my PS5 power cord. I'm like, all right, I must have left it in the move. Go cop the PS5 power cord, right? Put it in, it's not working, and it's not working. I'm trying, and I'm like telling my bro, like me and my bro had planned to play, and I couldn't play with him again. Plug it into a different outlet, now it works. I'm like, bet. So then I'm like, go to connect the HDMI to the TV cord. I don't have the TV cord. So I'm like, oh my God. So then cop a TV cord. And I also didn't have the remote. So I copped the TV cord first. I didn't think I would need the remote. Yeah, that's what it was. I didn't think I would need the remote. So then I copped the TV cord. We get back and I'm like, bro, today is the day. I'm about to just use a phone, one of those apps on the phone. I don't have the remote, but I got the cord. I couldn't find the remote. I'm like, bet. So I get home, I'm trying to do this shit. And you know how when you first cut your TV on, you got to choose what language you're in? I guess you can't, you got to do that with the remote. You can't use a different remote. So now after this, I order a remote. So I was like, bro, it's going to be tomorrow. Next day, I get the remote. I'm like, this is what happened, bro. I'm sorry. It's gonna all make sense in a second, I swear. But we get the remote. I ordered the remote. This is what it is. Okay, no, I got you. I'm not gonna let this story die because it's a really good story. But when I was gonna order the remote, I'm like, I should get us groceries, right? I'm like, because I have to get the remote through ships. I'm gonna get us groceries. I'm like, I might as well get some groceries. So I put all these groceries in this thing. I'm like, bet. And I was doing this through DoorDash. I'd be using DoorDash like 20 times a week. I use it every damn day. And then I get on DoorDash, place my whole order. It wouldn't work with the card that I always use. I'm like, okay. So then I go, it says that you can use Cash App Pay. I try Cash App Pay. Cash App Pay says you can't use this with alcohol. I'm like, okay, I take the alcohol out. Cash App Pay still wouldn't work. I'm like, okay, I'm done with DoorDash. Delete the whole app. Then I go on Shipt and I'm like, okay, bet. I was able to place my order. I got it and it was good and it was like great. Then
boom.
What happened after that?
The guy or the girl stole your shit.
Yes, I forgot all about this. So what happened, bro? So, I told you it would get good. After that, bro, it didn't even make sense. The whole time it was something fishy because the order was supposed to get there by the time that they got to the store. So it's supposed to come from 6 to 7, supposed to get to me. It said they started shopping at like 6:15. I'm like, okay, that seems impossible. I'm like, maybe you can get it done at like 7 or 8 or something like that. No. It was like even later because it was taking so long. But like at like 9, it said finished shopping done. I'm like, bet. And then at like 9:02, it was like delivered. And I was like, oh, bet. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe you just did it late. Because I remember when you used to do shit, sometimes you would like, you're trying to do shit for your numbers or whatever. Something like that. So then I get downstairs, it's not there. My complex is really hard to navigate. So that's the first thing I thought. But then it was like, no, the person wasn't answering, and then I couldn't even talk to them. Ship calls me, hey, we saw that you did this, you saw that you couldn't get in, whatever. Then I'm like, yeah, we actually can't even get in contact with them, so we're just gonna go ahead and refund it. I'm just like, what? I just want to watch TV, but all right. So I'm like, okay. So after this, I ordered another time. So I ordered the same order, and I couldn't get all the same shit. Or the same order, added the remote again. And I'm like, bet, this is good. Then the order was placed for the next morning. Boom. Order gets to my crib. I kid you not.
This is too much for me.
Bro, I kid you not. I kid you not. Order gets to my crib. And she had all these groceries. It was cold outside. She had them all good. And she was like, only thing is, I didn't get the remote. I thought I was being punked. I'm like, why did you get? I went to ask her why. But I was just so defeated. I was just like, okay. So she's like, I could go back. I was like, I mean, if you can.
Why didn't you turn around the minute you figured out that you didn't have what I ordered?
Because the thing is, I knew that you knew this. You knew this because I didn't say shit about a remote. So you knew this.
You was on your way.
You knew this and you ain't been the remote. So I'm like, yeah, go back.
I don't have the remote and I'm not going to turn back.
I don't think she understood. She probably thinking like, oh, he just trying to watch TV in a fancy way. Like, no, that's the only way I could watch TV. But okay. She does. So I was supposed to be playing with my bro. So just notice every time that I thought I could play, I also had scheduled to play with my bro because we are both busy as hell. We have to schedule it. It's a whole thing. But every time, just know that I was scheduling it and we were supposed to be playing. So this time, it was in the morning before church. I was supposed to be getting into 2K gaming. Couldn't do it. So then I forgot when it finally came, but it was there when we got back from church. I'm like, bet. No, you weren't there. No, yeah, it was there. It was there, and I'm like, bet. So then I plug it in because it was it's like a Fire TV remote and shit. And it just, long story short, I still can't watch TV. We still haven't watched TV. We watched Rick and Morty on my iPad last night because I don't know what to do. I don't know where to buy the remote because the remote that I bought doesn't work. But my whole point of that was I have gotten so mad about this. I have probably lost maybe a few hours of my life because of just how mad I've been.
Quite a few dollars.
No, yeah, because I keep buying shit because I don't know what I'm doing. I obviously don't know what I'm doing. I obviously don't know how to buy TVs and shit. I don't know what's going on. But I say all that to say is this whole thing would have gone a lot smoother if I had mastered Stoicism already. Just because each thing I had been screaming literally like throwing tantrums because it's so annoying when you're just trying to do one thing and you can't. Mm-hmm. But I'm I started to think God know me to watch TV. Is it going to distract me? Am I going to fall into a rabbit hole of playing too much video games? Maybe I should just keep it because the universe don't want me to. There's no way you just don't bring my shit. There's no way someone steals my shit. There's no way, like, it just has to be something. So it's about thinking about the bigger picture when you're in the moment and you can't see it. Because now you just have to lean on your faith if you're a believer. If not, just master stoicism. Because it's like, it's usually easy to talk about, these topics in relation to, I know this is a business podcast, and there's going to be so many people who maybe have different beliefs, but it's just going to be a lot harder for some things to permeate. It makes things it makes so much sense, like lean into your faith. But if you don't have that faith, as an entrepreneur, I personally believe beyond the Bible, if you're living in your truth, if you're doing the things that you love, then it's going to be easier. Like, it's just going to be easier for you. So things are going to start, like, opportunities start revealing themselves. Things will just be starting happening for you if you just are going on the right path, type of thing. But getting back to this, if you for you, any last words on stoicism? Any last words on that before? I mean, not last words, but any other points before I keep going?
I feel like
Are you crying?
No, I just yawned.
Okay. I'm like, damn, like, okay.
No. I definitely is thinking about stoicism and James one night, bro. That's I want a taste in my mouth, but when this drink gets cold, it gets nasty. Yeah, I mean,
it's not good.
Disgusting, because it's made with heavy cream, and that shit, excuse my language, that stuff gets very, very thick. But it's like it's a thin line of this is good taste, and then it's a big old thick line of this is too thick. So that kind of overshadows that little thin line of good taste it has. But anyways, I feel like when it comes to stoicism and James 1:19, like, it's easier to do the things that it talks about when you, like how I always say, give yourself it's the grace of God, like that extra part there, because that's what the grace of God is. You are looking at this person, like, let's say, what's his name? Albert Einstein, back in the day, he coming up to the science lab or whatever, dressed dirty, dingy, I mean, messed up, looking like he homeless. He got the smartest mind, but you got to give him grace, because you about to turn down Albert Einstein. So you got to give this person grace. He's having hard times. He's going through this struggle, but he is very smart, and that's what I'm going to focus on. And when you are giving people grace, like if we are having an argument and I'm livid, I'm at you, I'm going just left and right. It's like, yes, I'm not doing the best when it comes to my communication with you, but when you within yourself and you say, let me give her grace, she just worked a long shift at work, then she had to come home, feed Bucky, then she had to clean, and then she was on her monthly, and then she cramping, and then she stubbed her toe the other day, then her nail tech don't got availability to the 26th. She going through it, okay? So you give me that grace, and now instead of responding to me with fire the same way I'm coming at you with and spreading the wildfire, letting it continue, you give me that grace and you say, I know that you're going through all of that. I'm really sorry that I didn't take the trash out, babe. That was my bad, So it's like when you think about giving that person or whatever it is, a job or a business, anything, the food you tried to cook, whatever it is, if you give it the grace of God, it can help you be quick to listen, slow to speak, slow to get angry.
Yeah, and it really spoke to me, because you definitely know. Like, it's funny that only the people who don't know me, like if someone was to say I get angry, like they'll be inside the room who know me, they'll be like, yeah, and then they'll be inside the room doesn't like, and it's like, but no, like I needed this.
No, absolutely, because like in the beginning when we were just friends and I was just coming over and we were just talking for hours, and you were like, yeah, we were arguing and I punched the vent in the car or something like that. I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm like, boy, you're so sweet. You're just, you were just a little upset. You were just a little mad. That's okay. Yeah. But then once we got down to the nitty gritty, I was like,
oh, this nigga wasn't playing.
Oh, like, okay.
I get a little angry sometimes, but
that's okay because you are getting better. We're communicating better. It takes progress.
One thing I really wanted to touch on that you said was something that was really, I'm glad I caught it. I need to start taking notes when you talk because you say a lot of great stuff and I don't think you know it. But that one part when you were talking about, we talked about giving them grace, and you also talked about when people give, religion a bad name, and you said it's not done on purpose. Like it's not with malicious intent. And that was one of the reasons why, I've been a Christian since, high school. That's always been the religion I followed, and the context of how strong it's been, that's a different story. Like, it's definitely been wavered with people passing and things, but that's been my religion, for as long as I've had Instagram, and I never actually posted it, not because I'm ashamed of it. Cause I'll say it, I don't care who you are, but I also didn't want to give religion a bad name because I was making very, very secular music. I'm still making, secular music and just trying to find, because everyone takes religion their own way. I'm trying to figure out how I feel about that. Like, saying curse, I'm still on my journey. I'm on my journey of learning and just, learning things for myself. But I didn't want to represent God in that way. So when people see me, responding to shade room comments and cursing people out and,
I unfollowed them.
I didn't want, because shade room, that's just a toxic place to be. All those pages, I just use it because I need to know shit that's going on, but they're not really good pages to indulge in because they will ruin your day. They just like to, the whole point of those pages and the reason why they're so big, because they use like the easiest way to go viral. This is game that you probably shouldn't take. You should take the other route.
Negativity sells.
Negativity sells more than anything. So that's why they're going to post Blueface every single day if they have to, because that's the most negative relationship out there. And now that's being glorified as like normal, like, because we see it so much that is normalized now. So that's a whole topic. I hate that they're doing that and they're using their platform that way. I respect it because it's not good, because I know that that's gonna I think be not good just for the future, but whole different thing. But I love what you said, because that's the reason why, and it's the reason why religion gets a bad name is because people haven't mastered what they're talking about in the scripture, and even the next scripture after that, where they say you can't, judge people. How can you be godly and you're judging people? Like when you talk about the person that cuts you off, like it's funny, like when you're driving with someone that you love and they cut someone off. What is it like? It depends on how much, how your relationship is. But usually if you're driving with a friend or someone that you know their heart, then you're going to give them grace. And you're going to be like, you might even be like, oh, what was that? Oh,
be careful.
Be careful. Oh, I didn't see, or whatever. But when someone else does it, we always immediately think, or not, that the way we speak is like they're doing this on purpose and they're singling us out.
Yeah.
And we talked about the other day, like, they could be on a rush somewhere, or they could just really not even be thinking about you like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then also even back to the book of James, how it was saying, like looking in the mirror and that metaphor there. But it's just like, even with that situation, when things happen to you, things are done to you, think about the times when you've done those things. Because I guarantee you, if you're getting mad at somebody else cutting you off, you have probably cut someone off. So when you did that, more than likely, were you like, I'm about to cut them off? Or were you like, oh shoot, I'm about to mix my exit. Oh no. What kind of situation was it? And so when you give them a grace, they could just be mixing their exit, or who knows what's going on. And instead of automatically going to the negative, you go with the positive and just, I hope they make it to where they're going since they're in such a hurry. Anyways, back to my journey.
And it's better for both of you guys, because now you're not having a bad morning. Because a lot of times, they were telling me, the words we say are powerful. They're so powerful. Like just the things you do are powerful. Like if you're smiling, it's hard to be upset. It's just a fact. Like if you just smile for like 30 minutes straight, you're probably going to end up in a better mood than you were. Right.
Did they really, I'm sorry, but did they really just put on your Starbucks that your name is JC?
Oh yeah. He spelled it with a AY. Like,
not JC.
This still looks like Jace to me, but I can see how this isn't. You could see this as JC, but I still saw it as Jace. I saw it, but I think that I never worked there, but I wouldn't be surprised if like they tell people to spell it wrong on purpose, because it's a marketing thing. It's like, I'm gonna post this and now I post Starbucks, but it seemed like this is on purpose because you added my
names, made wrong by them too many times to count. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
I'm gonna, like, if you work at Starbucks and you're listening or watching this, I'm DM me and like tell me if I'm right. But I would be willing to bet money that they tell people to do this on purpose, because this really looks intentional. Like I said, Jace, and you made this like a 6-letter word, and it's not even. What are you doing? But I think that would be amazing marketing, because it's like, bro, look at this, bro. This is not my name, and everybody's like, oh, but damn, I haven't had Starbucks in a minute. Let me go, like, but that sucks, because this isn't something that's that bad to make you not go to Starbucks. It's just annoying, but it's like
I still want Starbucks. I feel like maybe not because people
I'm gonna grab
like
charger,
to take.
By the way, keep talking.
People like to take pictures of their drinks, for social media. Throw the whole Jace away. But like people like to post pictures of their drinks on social media, and I have definitely not posted a few drinks strictly because my name is spelled incorrectly. So I it would be so funny if by the end of the episode I can find this video. There's a video of me and some old friends that I'm no longer friends with, but me and a few friends who were like we were ordering drinks at Starbucks, and I guess before we ordered our drinks, I was telling them, I'm like, yeah, I'm about to make a video of my drink, and I want to da-da-da-da. And then when they hand me the drink, I saw that it was spelled incorrectly. No, they called it out. And so whoever called it out was going by how the cashier spelled it. And I was like, that ain't me. And then my friends kept looking, and they was like, I think that's your drink. And they was like, oh, you can hear somebody in the background saying, oh, you can't do your video.
That's funny, bro.
Yeah, Starbucks drinks is real. That's a serious thing, man.
No, I know y'all be serious.
Because I be upset when my drink is wrong. Like I be really mad. Like
yeah, that's another time when Stoicism, and that was so beautiful that one day where you were like really mad or something. You was like, I just don't. It was something like, oh, you thought you ordered a grande or something. You was like, oh, this is.
Yeah, I was like, I ordered a venti, but I was just like, and you said venti, and you got a venti, and I was just like, bro, whatever, I guess. And then I tasted it, and I was like, well, it does taste good, so I'm not even gonna be mad.
Because you were afraid that the fact that it was smaller was gonna throw off the proportions of the
syrups and stuff that I add because. The syrups is honestly
strong, very concentrated.
Yeah, like that can mess your whole drink up if you mess my sizing from small to large. Because if it's large, I don't taste it enough. Now I don't taste like no syrup in here at all. Right. So it's just that's like I gotta calm down.
Yeah, because I've seen it.
That is no joke to me because I dream about Starbucks. So if I have a dream and I wake up and I'm like, I'm gonna get Starbucks today, and I get dressed and put my little mascara on, and then I walk out the door, and get to the Starbucks, stand in that long line and wait forever because y'all take so dang on long, and then I taste my drink and it's incorrect.
People don't think about that. And I didn't think about that when I worked at Panera because I used to, I think growing and living is just so important for so many things. And it's like, obviously it's inevitable that you grow, but just being at Panera, I remember seeing those business guys who come in, they're such in a rush and it's like snatching drink. They're going so far. Obviously snatching is never right, but they're just going so fast and just like they're in a rush. And whenever I say it's going to be this way, and they're just like, oh, and I'm just like, I'll be looking at like, bro, like relax, like, bro, it's 15 minutes. But now that I've learned time is really money. Like I look back at those times or just when I learned it's about just having, I always thought I was the most empathetic person, but I think we're all like selectively empathetic, just like with certain things that we truly understand more. And I'm learning that with everyone has their things that they're more empathetic to. But like, I wasn't empathetic to people who are in a rush. I'm just like, I don't care. Like, what do you mean? Like, I thought I was a busy guy at that time at 17, 18. I'm like, bro, you're tripping. But like now it's like, I find myself the same way. Like I remember I was at Olga's and like, I forgot what they was doing, but they just was going so slow. And I'm just like, I was like, bro, I'm just like, forget it. Just leave that, and I'll just take this. I'm like, it's fine. I'm like, it's fine. It's just fine. And it's like, I got in the car, and it's like, damn, like that wasn't good. But it's like, you have to be like that. Like, I understand that shit more. And it's like, even people with their food, I used to not care like about your food being fucked up. I didn't care.
Let's talk about that time at Chick-fil-A at Somerset where I paid for my food, and it was taking so long that I was just like, just give me my drink.
Oh my God.
Just get my drink.
Yes, bro.
And I was just like, don't even try to fight me. Just give me my
drink. You can't get a refund. I know.
Yep. I just want you to give my drink and I'll be done because I don't want no problems because what I'm gonna be like, that's taking y'all so long. Why don't I? Who knows who called off or who in training today, or just give me my drink.
Give me what's ready.
Since I had somewhere to be,
right?
I maybe shouldn't have ordered from Chick-fil-A. Maybe I should have went to Shake Shack or to the Chinese food place. People mad right here. So it's like maybe I just should not have done this and set myself up to be in this position.
Yes.
Because most of the time that's what's happening. You mad that this guy is going so slow because you're running late.
Oh man.
So maybe you shouldn't have woke up so late. Or if you did, just take responsibility for that.
Right.
Because usually, I can almost 95. I'll give some 5% leeway because there's some people out there. But I can almost guarantee that if you left out in enough time, you wouldn't be mad at them.
Exactly. Because it would be nothing to be mad about. Your own time. And that's where it was coming from with me. I think this way of thinking is a very logical way. And it's like, that's where I came from when I'm at Panera and I'm like looking at these people and I'm just like, but like I had to think like, okay, but no, that's where it was coming from for me. It's like, it's not you're at Panera. I'm like, this is Panera bread. And you're here at 12 o'clock. So you get what you sign up for. Like, you don't come to Panera Bread. And there was Detroit, it's closed down now, but that was the Troy Commons location. I remember it was just the busiest location that went at the time. But don't set yourself up for failure and then get mad when you fail, type of thing. Mm-hmm. But yes. And then before we kind of jump into our next topic and our next and last topic, I wanted to talk about a few things. So maybe not. I know we went a little longer than we wanted to with this specific segment, but a few terrible things that have happened to both of us that produced, or let's not say this specific thing had to produce a good outcome, but just terrible things that happened and then they sucked really bad in the moment, but good outcomes followed. Whether it was directly tied to this bad thing or it just came after, right? And I guess something that was really bad when it happened that ended up being a blessing or ended up being something better. And I'll let you go if you can.
I guess with a little bit of a transparency when it comes to our relationship. There was a period in time where we weren't together. Like, we weren't living together. We weren't seeing each other really. We were talking, but not really like how I would have liked to have been talking to you. So like what I appreciate about that time is, for one, like, I definitely do think there was a time where I was taking a lot of your actions personal, and I was thinking like, maybe this ain't, the way it should be, because he always hurt my feelings and I'm not reacting the best way. And now I'm hurting his, like, it was just a never ending snowball effect. But when there was that time where I was seeing you out and about with friends and I'm like, he gonna go to that restaurant without me, or he gonna go there without me, and why he with her, and why is she in his comments, and why is he in hers, and all of these things, it definitely made me realize, for one, I definitely wanted to be with you. I knew that. I was like, okay, now I have learned, like, I am losing weight. I cannot eat. I can't drink. All I do is watch TV, and like, I was supposed to be doing like a bunch of different side hustles at that time, so I could go ahead and get in my own apartment so I could make you jealous. So I was supposed to be doing all these things to hustle up and get money, but I couldn't get out of bed to do them. Like, even me wanting my strength, like my goal of wanting to make you jealous wasn't even as strong as how down I was that we weren't together, that I couldn't even do that. So the only thing I could do was my work from home job. And I don't even know what I would have been doing for money if it wasn't for that work from home job, because I couldn't get out of the bed. So for one, that brought me knowing this is the guy I want to be with. How the hell do I get back with him? So for one, I'm about to unarchive all these pictures. I'm about to keep this, and I'm keeping this J. At the time, it wasn't J. What is your name in my bio now? Is it still Jace? Yes, is it Jace now?
You got the J, and then you added me, Jace Preem.
Okay. Well, it was just that it wasn't the Jace Preem. It was just the J in there, and I was like, I'm keeping that in there. And then I was like, and I'm gonna post a TikTok too, and another one, and another one. Now I wasn't like posting like this is my boyfriend, but it would be like
that's what everybody
things
thought.
I'm trying to do for him, or text from my favorite like things like that. I'm like, how can I post a video that shows we're together, but it's not like strictly specifically saying that we are. So I was coming up with ideas. I'm like, what can I do and all these things. But that time I feel like got us to where we are now, because it made us realize we do want to be together. This is the person that I want. And I feel like it also started to shine light on the darkest parts of us individually.
Yes.
And that I feel like it showed us that we did need to start being on a consistent journey to God, and good communication, because the communication was very thin, very, very low, and very not good. Yeah. So going through that phase and that period of time, it also helped me learn to just put my trust in you, because I was seeing these things, hearing these things, and I'm like, nope, that's what he's doing. He's terrible. He's bad. And I had to just learn to put my trust in you, and to just also come to you and ask, instead of seeing a girl in your comments or seeing you in another girl's comments, instead of assuming they did it. They're together now. Instead of just assuming that, I had to learn, let me go and ask him, what's up? And you were honest, told me, hey, this is what happened. This is what's going on. And so it helped me like learn to put a little bit more trust in you than what I was. And I feel like if it wasn't for that period in time, I don't know if we would have realized that this was the journey we needed to be on as soon as we did.
Yeah. And I goes even farther, like, and I'm glad you shared that. And it's like, man, but I think it to me, I think you probably realized it maybe even sooner than I did. Cause after that, I just realized that I was shitty. Like, not that I was shitty, but I kind of just got to a point because that time was like really hard. And it's crazy how, you know, social media does paint a picture, because I know you probably looked at me and thought like, he's having a great time. I'm looking at you like, she's having a great time. And I think some of that was making me like, oh, she don't need me and this and that. And there's one thing to be said about that before I even keep going. Like, it's when women bring up, you know, guys and their egos, and like, oh, they say a guy doesn't want to see you do better and shit like that for his ego and stuff. And it's like, it's a little bit deeper than just ego. Cause when you hear ego, that sounds just terrible. But if you say the word insecurity more, and not say it as such a threat or like a violent attack on guys, because it's like weird when guys are insecure. But that when you mentioned like wanting to get a place like to make me jealous shit. I'm like, it's crazy because I was thinking that would make me jealous, but I was thinking like it would. And it's like, that's not because I don't want you to be successful and I don't want you to have your own place, but it's like, you guys have to understand, like the social media paints our purpose is to provide. Like, we're supposed to be providers. So that means that our purpose, we're needed. Like the man of the household, like in the Bible and stuff, we are needed, right? That's our function. We provide, so we are needed. So if you guys program us to think that way, now this whole like super independent culture, now that it's like, I don't need no nigga, and it's like this and that and the third, that like, it's not like we don't care. Like I would never try to take bread out of, you know, my girl pocket, nothing like that. But it's a thing to be said about, you program us to think that we should be needed, and then once we aren't needed, it's gonna be, you know, scary. It's like, if you don't need me, why else? It's not, you know, because of anything else type of thing. So that was it. I just wanted to kind of break that down for some people, because I know that people are always looking at that like, oh, obviously if he's like trying to sabotage you from doing well, obviously a different story. But, you know, the fact that sometimes you even surpassing your man and like money you're making for a certain period of time, because earlier this year and like, you know, for a little later last year, you were making more than me. Like you were making more than me for like, it was like a good 6 or 7 months period where you were making all the money for a period. And it's like, that could make somebody scary in the moment, like feel scared. Cause it's like, now I really feel like cause my whole function, I'm not acting on it right now. So it's like, that's a whole thing to be said, but that's deeper. We get more into relationships, like obviously in the next few minutes here, if we can get to the next topic. But for me, I won't get into all these things that I had. I'll just kind of piggyback off talking about that time, because during that time, I also got robbed and I lost basically everything. So just to kind of give you guys a backstory, during that time, I had just left Wojo Media. I was the director of sales there. And I was making more money than I ever made there, but I was the most unhappy I'd ever been, mainly because I just saw losing my grandpa, I think, kind of was my turning point, and Stoicism would have helped that not be a turning point. But now I know what to do next time, you know, I lose someone, not let it, you know, destroy everything I have built. But yeah, I mean, once my grandpa passed, I was super hypersensitive. I was even, you know, I'm already an overthinker and I take everything to heart, but like, I was like, just around that time, I just became so sensitive and emotional. But the way my boss was talking to me, I didn't like it before. Like, it was always like,
I'm about to say, because let's not blame old boy's way of going on your grief, because no, he was out of control.
Yeah, he was very out of control. And I just know that now I could deal with that. I mean, I would still not work there, but I would have waited to save, you know, just be like, okay. But I was taking things personal, like, oh, but I'm like, it was just a projection of him. You know, I was trying to get it so that, okay, I mean, he knew business better than me and I knew sales better than him. And that was like very apparent on both sides. But it was the fact that my bank account didn't match, I guess, what my expertise were, and he was like, if you never made $1 million, whatever. It was a whole thing, but I
have a McLaren,
like that,
and a Rolex.
Like,
what do you have?
Literally, he's having these
like
these
if
type
that's
of
what you
conversations.
have to throw at me to win a conversation, that shows a lot about you.
And I was,
you don't have nothing in your mind to hit me with.
Because I wouldn't throw that stuff out. I would if I was gonna have that type of weird conversation with somebody. The last thing I mentioned is that stuff.
To the people he would be responding to. I know we're going out of the thing, but dude, your product low-key sucks. I'm sorry, putting it out there because it's in all his comments. Your product sucks, so it's not like it's not there. If you do a little bit of research, you will find out his product sucks. Sorry,
depending on who he's working with, I will say that. Basically, just to give them some grace, they were only good at one. It was a marketing company, and they were only good at marketing people who were already good. Like if you already had a proof of concept, if you already were making like good money,
specifically credit repair,
and like niches like that. Anything else?
Anyway, but like regardless, a person is coming to you and saying something among it could be something like, "Hey, this is what's going on. My wife." We getting a divorce, or grandma died, or whatever, and he'll be like, so you can't just spend $1,500 right now?
Oh my God.
And be like, dude, no. Or it's just like a person just specifically saying, your product is not what I'm looking for. Yeah. I am looking for A, B, and C, and you have D, E, F, and Z, and I don't need any of that. And you're telling me I'm stupid in that you have a McLaren and a Rolex.
He literally lost a sale that a guy, I managed his DMs for a while, so I was seeing a lot of this stuff. But there's one I was just like, "What? This is the one I had to bring up to him. What inevitably led to me leaving because of how he handled it." But I'm like, "Hey, like I'm pretty sure that guy was gonna buy." He's like, "This is how you got to talk to people. You got to hold them accountable." I'm like, "This dude,
what would he call people? Not bums,
idiot." I don't know.
He's an idiot. Yes, idiot was definitely one of them.
But this was just, I knew for a fact this guy was going to buy, and I was so pissed because it was a guy that it would have been my commission, and that's why I was pissed. But the guy hopped in his DM. He was, it was after we had a call with him, and Jason was like, okay, there's whatever, whoever Jason is, right? But he was like, hey, now that threw me off that I said that so much that I forgot where I was. But no,
he was like, this guy's not gonna buy, and you're like, no.
This was after the call, and then he was like, how did today go? I'm like, I only had one call, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna buy, in a few days. He was like, what's his name? I'm like, whenever he said that, I was like, okay, I gave the guy's name, and then like clockwork in like 5 minutes, I see him DMing him like, hey, how'd the call go today? He always does this, and he was like, oh yeah, it went great. Jason's great. I appreciate the presentation, and I just need to get back with you guys after my daughter's recital tonight. And we want to surprise her. It was they wanted to reward their daughter. He wanted to reward his daughter for something because her daughter had been doing well in school, and she just had a recital, and it was the whole thing. And he was like, he needed to talk to his wife to see what they're gonna do, and then Jason proceeds to say, what'd he say, dude? Oh my God. What'd he say?
Something ridiculous.
I want to make sure I don't misquote him.
Definitely if I'm not showing stoicism, because he was going through it.
This is what he said. He goes, what's more important, your daughter or your business?
And I remember that. Because I'm looking at this I could not believe that.
Because even if it was a dog, but that's his whole daughter. Like, the dude literally, he responded so quick. My daughter, have a good day. So
you must have never watched The Office and have seen how Jim was so upset that Pam didn't press freaking record. Like, dance recitals are big. It's your daughter, it's your baby girl on stage in a little tutu, and she's dancing.
Like, when I have a kid, it's gonna be dangerous if you're trying to do business with me, because I'm gonna be canceling so much shit. Like for my daughter, I swear. Like I'm sorry.
She has a boo boo. I can't come to
That's
the
what I'm saying.
today.
My daughter, she doesn't like her hair, so I'm about to. Nita's not here. She's somewhere out, out of the country. I gotta figure this out, So.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, back.
I didn't mean to go on a whole rant about them, but I wanted to give more context, and we got really deep into that. We'll probably talk about that one of these days. But long story short, everything that was going on, I wouldn't have been taking it personal, because now that I look back, they say that the age that you run into wealth, you can choose to stop growing. I'm not going to say that everyone stops growing once you hit wealth, but once you touch bread, you don't have to grow, because people like to associate personal development with getting bread, and they think getting bread means you figured out life. So many people, they get bread, and now they think that they can, do shit like this. But there is more than just getting bread, to personal development. And I think people like him,
get bread, they got start bread, a podcast.
Get bread. And no, this is the steps. You get, no, before you even get bread, most people don't get bread. They read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and then they say, oh, I know it all. Like, I'm a business guy. Hey, you shouldn't be like, go live out. And like, I think the best way to learn is to, go have the experiences. But okay, before I could talk about that, we'll probably have to do a whole episode about that. But I wanted to kind of tie that all to is I would have been fine. I was making consistently 5 figures at least there. And I would have been fine if I stayed there, but I quit without a savings to go work for this other guy who just fucked me, just completely lied about the offer, lied about everything that he told me in the interview, and just the whole company went to shit. Then I worked for another guy and there's all this stuff. But during this time, like, I was like missing you. Like, it was like, cause when I'm going through bad stuff, like, people have emotional support animals. Like, I just, you know my tics, when I'm like, cause it could be not shown on my face at all, but like my hand is doing a weird thing and you're like, oh,
and I'm like, what's wrong?
Like, what's wrong?
And you're like, nothing. But you're doing that. And I'm like,
now the people in the podcast about to be
stupid. Like, come on now. You're flicking.
I feel like you're a little bit more accurate than me, but I feel like I know the times you really think I won't know. Like, you be thinking I have it hid so well, and I think it's sometimes when I get it, because when I catch you.
Yeah, and then the reason why I said my stoicism is at a 4 is because I struggle. You already tell me I have, what is it, RBF. So, like, if I already have that, so it's like when I'm upset, like, it's even harder to make sure I'm making a good facial expression. So it's like you're bound to know for real. Like, you're bound to know like something is really going on with her because she looks even worse than normal.
Oh, sorry. An investor was texting me, so it scared me, but it's fine. It's all good. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, that RBF can scare an overthinker. I mean, I overthink everything. If people don't use emojis in their text messages, I think they're mad at me. So that's something.
Yes, because literally I was cooking lasagna last night and I'm like, yes, I need oregano. So I need this and that. And then I'm just literally sending ingredients. And then next thing you know, I get are you okay?
Well, it wasn't after the ingredients. It was after like your message or something. It wasn't just
about ingredients.
I feel it.
So I'm like, what? I'm gonna put a tree in there for seasoning.
My mom would like. She literally asked me that hopefully it was this phone, but she was like,
So you want me to text like my mom?
Because our moms, I think they both, whenever they can, they try to use emojis. She's like, "How's your leg?" With a leg emoji.
It suggests emoji.
And I think they always use the suggestion. So I think
they be typing and they be like, "Ooh, I've never seen that before." Boom.
She literally said, "Where's the message at?" She literally said, "Like, I never seen this one."
We're getting too off topic.
I'm sorry. That's the dangerous part about having you on here because I love talking to you. But I don't even know. I feel like we should. You think it would be smart to save this last topic for our next week? How to be a good entrepreneur? How to be a good partner? We need to be done. We need to be done by 4.
I think we can.
I don't want to skip to this because this is we
can wait to talk about that.
So we can finish up this and really talk about some other these things.
Okay.
So now I can finish really because I didn't think I was gonna be able to finish, but now I can actually finish like and say the good silver lining. So that whole period, I think, if I was to, guess what God is working on, I don't know. It could be bigger than even this, but I think it was pushing me more into entrepreneurship because what happened was I had all these things that I'm doing right now with Preem Consulting, You First Solutions, Preem Media, all these things. These were ideas that were birthed years ago. And you even, said I was talking about doing coaching years ago when we first met, and it just took so long to start because I kept making good money. Like I kept making good money, 5,000 a month. This is, I'm straight, making 10,000 a month. I'm like, I'm straight. I don't got to do shit. And the first thing I would do when I made great money was, of course, you're always first to come to mind, but it was never like, I was never spending my money towards things to make me more money when I had that good money. So it was like, this time is a huge emphasis on spend bread that is going to give me an ROI. Like even this morning, Rose was talking about a business idea of something. My first question was like, okay, so how does the ROI work on that? Because he was like, you should pay for this. I'm like, okay, but how does that work? How am I going to get anything back? Like now, the only time I'm opening my wallet is for you, point blank. It's just Nita. So it's just that. And then things that are going to bring me money. So it's like, otherwise I'm not opening my wallet. Like those are the only
pay attention to what's different about me next week.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I don't even know what you're talking about.
What?
What am I buying? What am I doing?
We'll discuss that later.
Yeah, we'll discuss.
Now I'm gonna add on about 3 more things. I'm gonna be like, you said you forgot. You forgot. I mean, that's what you told me. You told me you was gonna take me to Lululemon, and that's what you said. So
Lululemon, though. I hate that I like how you look in those clothes so much as I do, because they're so damn expensive. But it's whatever. But another thing. So even before, so let's talk about before. So this was like, I don't think I'm gonna give a timeline, but before what I was just mentioning, like my grandpa passing, Wojo Media just collapsing for me, and everything that led after. Before that, I was working for Jason Capital, so that was when I first started making that good money. We talked about this a little bit. I went from the thrift store making like $2,000 to $3,000 a month to Jason Capital, $5,000 plus from here on out from that point, and it was like I got so comfortable, and I was shown why I shouldn't get comfortable and why I should have been investing when he shut down for a few months, because he had to shut down. And I think he's up and running, doing great now. I think he's kind of just consolidated to a smaller team. Jason's a really good guy. This was the good Jason I worked for. He's a really good guy. He took care of everyone he worked for. And I don't know what happened. I think they kind of gave us something that really might have not been what it was, which I didn't deserve. I mean, he still took care of all of us, which was nice. But I think maybe he was too nice, because a lot of us had bases, had base pays, and I'm not sure how he's doing things now, but I would be willing to bet that he probably does less of that. I think people without base pays are willing to work a lot harder than people with base pays, because you have to be hungry and stuff. So I think there's a lot of things going on, but I say all that to say, when you're working for someone else, like, I'm not saying don't work for someone else, but you have to work for someone you believe in, or you just know that you're living and dying by their expertise, by their ability to execute, by what they know, their knowledge of things. So my thing is, after that, I started to be, okay, if I'm going to work somewhere, I need to be high up, because I need to be able to make decisions so I can prevent things like this. Because I think I've worked so many places that went through hard trials that I could have prevented if I got to speak. Even at Wojo Media, like he literally said March of, I think 2021, he made more money than he ever made. And that was the first month that I was the director of sales there. And I'm like, how are you to say that? And then a few months later, talk about me like I'm not shit, or talk about me like I'm not shit the next day. I'm like, you see, that's the whole thing. But Jason Capital shutting down, that really showed me that I need to be an entrepreneur. And then, like, for the 6 days until Tiff, shout out Tiff, she has helped me in a lot of ways, find a lot of different, she actually hired me and did my interview for Jason Capital. But Tiff, those few days before Tiff introduced me to Jason Wojo, like, I was like, okay, I gotta, this is it. I need to go hard. And then it was like, oh, no, here comes an opportunity, and you're going to make this. Okay, boom. And my first week there, I'm, leading in sales, making bread. I'm like, this seems good. We go to Chicago. We start doing a bunch of fun shit. Like, I'm just spinning bread. Then my grandpa passed. And it was like, I feel like if I had started the entrepreneurship journey by the time that happened, I don't know, could have been different. But everything happens for a reason. I'm learning. So like the whole point of Stoicism is, when bad things happen to you, try to think about, what good could come out of this, try to see a bright side. So now to fast forward to like this year, like, so this crazy, tough, rough year, when I think the first terrible thing was my car getting stolen. And I was like, but I think you do. I think you remember that day. Like, just,
I definitely,
I don't know if it was stoicism, but it was defeat in my face for sure. It wasn't stoicism though, but it was, you could have thought I was being stoic though, because I barely reacted when you told me.
Honestly, I thought you were doing the prank that you said you were gonna do.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this is why he's acting this way. I'm like, that's why I was like, well, it ain't there. And I kept walking down the stairs, because I was going
to get me.
I was literally on my way down to the bathroom, and I just happened to do a little peek, and I'm like, babe, did you move the car? And you're like, no. I'm like, well, it ain't there. I walked right on down the stairs, used the bathroom, brushed my teeth.
I was sitting on the bed like, of course. Because that's just how bad life was around that time. I was like,
yeah, and you were having a lot of dreams about your car being stolen. So I felt like those dreams were like setting you up. Like, it's bound to happen.
And it's like, man, and that was, I mean, I think what that did, and also another thing this year that kind of set me back, was my right leg just stopped working out of nowhere. We were out to eat for my birthday, and I just, as we're walking out, I'm just like, oh, I'm going down, and I couldn't get back up, and you had to carry me into the Uber, because at the time my car was stolen, so we had to get in the Uber, and now I had to go get crutches and shit. Couldn't even open my leg, I couldn't even like bend it openly, whatever that is. Extend it. I couldn't extend my leg. Still
bend it openly.
I couldn't extend it. I just.
That's the quote of the day.
Bend it. Oh wow! I didn't even think. Wow, that's kind of like what she said a little bit.
Oh
maybe,
damn!
In a way, I think that's what she said. Jokes to still be cool. Like that shouldn't be a problem, right? Like religious, like biblically, that should be fun. Like I don't think that's like a terrible thing to say. I wouldn't say it in church because it's like, but it's like I think that's fine. And within an episode that talks about God, I think that's what she said. Jokes are fine. Mm-hmm. I was trying to get you to agree with me. Mm-mm. You won't do that?
No.
Now on air. I'm like, agree with me on air. So I
think that is okay.
Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see what other people think. But yeah. So I mean, I don't think I need to just repeat everything bad that happened. But I think the whole point of me just listing all these things is like everything that happened. I'm still where I'm at now. Pointing
you into that direction that maybe you shouldn't be working a job.
That's really what
you got. Lenore's telling you about what she gonna make you for lunch and all of this. And then she touching your leg and all of this. Then you got another company shutting down. Then you got somebody talking about his neck. Like you had people firing because they fired me.
Bro, that was a whole thing. Like that was a whole thing. Working, and that's the thing to be said about because I'm fine with talking about this because like fuck them. Like I mean that was at Taki Moore, and Taki Moore is an amazing coach, amazing guy. Like even getting to talk to him was awesome. But he just had a bad management team. I think they lost. And this isn't. I've always been a humble guy, and it's like you can say what you want, but I feel like they lost two great people because we were both.
I mean that's literally what she said when she fired me. She literally said, I think you're so talented. I think you have so much going for you. I think you're going to do so many great things and all of this. I mean, going left and right. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to get a promotion. She said, but I think we're going to wrap it up.
She said it like that?
Literally.
Wow.
And I was like, what do you mean?
She's bad at that because I think she also, to me, I'll let you finish, but she said it to me in a weird way too.
Yeah, because that's what you said the same thing.
Because I didn't even know I was fired. I was like, but because she basically was, I'll just say it. She basically was saying like, okay, so you're gonna work until this day, and then after that, I'm gonna have Roxy take on your responsibilities, and yeah. And I was like, okay, so what am I gonna do? And she was like, basically,
it was
basically you don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here.
And then so basically she fired me because I had a situation arise with someone that was on the leadership team, and I feel like I could have maybe been a little bit softer with like my actual tone, but I wasn't cussing the lady out. I wasn't like mother effing. I simply was just like, I don't like how you're talking to me, and I don't like that. Like I was just being straight up. I don't like the way that you're talking to me, and I don't think that you should talk to me that way. What I think you should have done was told me exactly what you wanted me to do, gave me the tools to do that, and I would have did it. But if you're just expecting me to know how to do something when I have no experience in this, I've never been a triager before. Yeah. So I'm like, I think that you should have told me. And I was like, what y'all need to do is y'all need to tell us what to do, give us the tools to do it, and then we will do that for you. But if you're just expecting us to just come up with something off of the whim with no experience in this field, I don't see how that's going to happen. So, and I would appreciate if you don't come and because she tried to she insulted like my character or something.
Yeah, she was assuming.
She was like
no grace given.
She talking about I work hard and I work this many hours every single day for Black Belt and da da da. And I was like, that sounds like you work 24 hours a day.
It's not my fault.
Let's just put that out there. And I'm like, I have to have a life. I'm sorry if your life is Black Belt. That is beautiful. That's great for you. That is not great for Nita over here. So I'm like, and she continued on. I don't remember word for word, but it was an insult to my character and basically saying I wasn't a hard worker. When what was going on during that campaign? Wasn't I working? There was a day where I worked all day. The whole 18 hours I was working, calling people. So like they wanted me to. It was like each call that I had to make 5 extra steps for that call.
I remember exactly how it was. You were sitting at that bench that we had by the window, and you had your laptop right there. I remember,
literally, like I worked that entire day, and I'm like, I worked hard, and I was sleepy, and
I was sleepy.
I was making more money there, and I sacrificed my schedule there to work for them
because they treated us better before.
So I was like, I don't appreciate how you're telling me I'm not a hard worker because you work more hours than me. And I feel like as a person in leadership, you shouldn't be telling me that. And you shouldn't be comparing, especially if it would have been different if I was hired and you were like, we need you to work 24 hours a day. And then if I was like, okay, I can do that, and then I didn't work 24 hours, okay, say what you want. But if we agreed that I was going to work part-time hours, it doesn't seem like I should be working for you 24 hours a goddamn on day. So that was basically the summarize of it. I'm like, I don't appreciate you insulting my character. Yeah. I mean, I was real. I was like, since you're on the leadership team, I really don't feel like that should have been coming out of your mouth in the first place. So, because of that, and now before then, because I was like, I don't like you. I don't like you. But
you didn't say that though.
No. Yeah. I was thinking to myself, I don't like you. I don't like your personality. That's what I'll say.
We don't click.
So yeah, we just don't click, and that's okay. Everybody is not for everybody. But I'm like, so I was still sweet with her, and everybody else, hi, you know, so soft girl Nita. But now you're insulting my character because you expected me to do something that you didn't tell me to do. Yeah. Now I'm not gonna be super soft and because that's not what this conversation is about. And the person that was over that person was like in the interview, and she was like, I send your audio messages to people that I know, and they were saying this is unacceptable.
She's not allowed to do that, for one. That was actually, you can't just
I thought that was weird, but I'm like,
that's actually illegal.
I'm like, was I cussing? Like, was I yelling? Like, I couldn't. To this day, I don't understand. And I was just like, and she was like, do you know what you would do differently? And I was like,
work for y'all.
This is before the whole we're gonna wrap it up thing. So I'm like, I guess I'll just come straight to you if I have any more problems with Roxy, because what it seems like, I was like, okay, yeah, I could have used a better tone, but I was like, I'll just come to you from now on, because that's honestly what I could have done. I could have just, Roxy sent that message, screenshot, Vanessa, I don't like this message, and I don't appreciate this tone, or whatever my own little heartfelt message could have been. But I just felt like me and Roxy are two grown women. We can have a conversation about the things that you're saying to me. I didn't think I needed to cuss at her to get what I was saying across to her. But I'm like, okay, but yeah, she was just like, that was unacceptable, and you can't train somebody to be respectful or something like that. Wow. And I was just like,
ain't that what y'all trying to do with me? I mean, no, y'all just fired me. So
I was just like, couldn't even. I was just like, so I was this, and then I was just like, so what about Roxy though? Is she gonna have to apologize? And she was like, no. And I was like, oh, okay. So honestly, I was like, I'm gonna find a new job because Roxy has been working here for so long, and obviously she does good work for y'all, but I'm like, that just means that if she wants to come to me again and say something disrespectful or borderline disrespectful or whatever, y'all clearly don't think it was disrespect. So whatever y'all think it is, it's just going to be a pass. And I didn't like that. However, I will commend Roxy, because Roxy apologized to me on her own.
I think you did.
Because I asked her this. I'm like, so what about Roxy? What about my apology from her? Like, and she was like, no, but Roxy she apologized, and she was like, I need to be more clear or more respectful when I have something that I need you to do. And I was like, we cool now. And I was like, there's no more issues.
It makes me mad because I think Vanessa should have been able to orchestrate that a lot better, because she knows Roxy, and like there was a language barrier there. So I don't think they're like, obviously I think Roxy, I'm not sure how much malicious intent was there, if any, but I do know, I feel like that she probably didn't mean to make you as upset as she did. So I love that, but I think that's bold that Vanessa couldn't even like work that out better, because I feel like Vanessa should know. Like, I feel like she hangs out with enough people of our culture. It seems like, just talking to her, like she has the slang, that she knows our stuff. And then she also is around British people and Australian people a lot. So I feel like she should have been able to be the one to make that better. But like I said, everything happens for a reason. That led us here. Because I mean, we maybe could have still been there, because that was an awesome gig too, to be honest.
It was. It was a really easy job. Good. I was the one that wanted to have a bigger role and do more work. That was me trying to advance and get that for myself. And I feel like it would have been great, but it was just, I don't want to work for a company who will not hold their highest performers accountable. Yeah. Like, yes, Roxy is making the most calls because she works all day. Yeah. I'm at home watching Netflix at 9-10 p.m. Roxy's watching black belt videos. dinner's on the table and she's like, black belt's on. Gotta watch.
Yeah.
I know there's a no phone rule, but can't do it. Like, no, like, come on now. So I'm like, yes, that's probably why she's making so many calls because she works all day. But you can't expect everybody to do that. Like,
especially if you don't ask them.
Yeah. So I'm like,
but that's the thing to be said, like bad leaders. So, and I think that was just a bad leadership. I'm not going to call her a bad leader, but that was bad leadership. And I feel like off rip, bad leaders don't like being held accountable. Like well, for one, the bigger thing is bad leaders don't care about being good at leading. Like bad leaders, I feel like that's an obvious trait. And I say that because a good leader, anytime you're saying anything bad, like if like Trinero or anyone on our team was to bring up something that, I said that hurt their feelings or something like that, someone who cares about being a good leader is going to put what they feel, because she probably was like, no, Roxy, my girl, like, you did it. But like, if you put that aside and be like, oh, this is our integrity on the line. Oh, this is, look past that. A good leader cares about the big picture. And I feel like it seemed like, as mature as I thought she was, it seemed like she was just focused on like, today, I'm like, look at the big picture. If Nita is so talented, if I'm so talented, you're going to lose. You'd rather lose both of us than just tell your girl to say sorry. A sorry that the girl would have said, that was you.
She said it.
So that was Vanessa just not wanting to, like, you don't deserve that.
And I mean, like, don't get me wrong. It did, like, the entire time that we worked there, it definitely gave, like, they were having their own private, completely different conversations they were having by themselves than they were having when they were
lying to us.
That was clear. That was obvious. Like I definitely sensed that energy day one. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't be surprised if Roxy was still like talking crap or whatever to her, and like, I'm so hurt by what she said and all it is feeding into it or whatever the case may be. But
yeah, because I mean, they were even meetings where they were like, okay, but Jordan and Nita, you guys can leave, and we're just gonna stay for a second.
Yeah, like, but let's just talk about also how let's talk about how there would be so many times in meetings where they're like, okay, if you guys have anything that we should change or you think that we should be doing, feel free to reach out and let us know. And how many times we reached out with things like how we said the check-ins, because she had a call with you and basically was like, you're not performing at all, and you were like, How was I supposed to know that when the last call that we had, you said I was doing great?
And every time I got done with anything, anytime I submitted anything, I'm like, because I'm an overthinker. So I'm like, is this okay? Is this good? Is this good? Yes. And then now this day,
but then telling me that I'm not doing good or and I'm like, confusing. This entire week you have been saying good job, great job, and all of this, and now so I'm like, maybe we need to have weekly check-ins where we break down what's going on, and they never did it. Never did it.
It's like, it's just very passive aggressive place, just a whole passive aggressive style, like, and it's but shit like that just teaches me about myself, because it's like I can, if I'm not careful, I can do stuff like that, because it's like they were just indirect with everything, and just I do that sometimes with you, where it's like, but I think we do that with each other, like, oh, you didn't know, like, you just didn't know, like, I think that's something that we got to get out of our vocabulary, like, you didn't already know that, like we expect people to read our minds and stuff, and it's like, that's one thing that she said to me. She even said, we even tested you. We saw, we gave you this assignment, and we wanted to see if you were going to go do A, B, and C that they didn't ask me to do. And I'm like, and I literally asked, I'm like, why couldn't I know about that? But it's like, we want somebody who's going to take this serious.
What was weird? That weird complex of doing that, telling me that's like if I told you, go over there in that next room. Mm-hmm. You go over there in the next room and you're like, there's nothing in here. Right. And then you come back and I'm like, what you doing there? And you're like, I mean, I looked around. I really didn't see anything. And I'm like, well, that shelf in there that's in that box, I need you to build it. I need you to build that for me. And you're like, why would you just tell me to go in the room then? And that's how it was. Yeah. It was so many. And that's why I had to say something to Roxy in the first place, because you told me to do something. I don't even, they were basically telling me soon we're going to have you making these calls. Right. And I'm like, okay. And then she was like, on Monday, we're going to discuss it. Yes. And I'm like, okay, Monday came, then she couldn't discuss it. She had to reschedule it because of something with her kids or whatever. So Tuesday Tuesday comes or whatever, and I guess that's when in their head they wanted me to start making the calls, and I'm like,
never said shit.
And then I'm like, I don't even have. Well, it was something that I didn't have, and they were like, oh, let me send that to you, and I'm like.
But there's no, like, they know there's no accountability.
And then my thing is, maybe it would have been different if I told y'all was my only job. Okay,
right.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But I'm like, y'all not even my only job. I'm part-time here because I have a full-time job.
I make way more at.
So I literally had to tell her, I'm like, I'm not available this day. Mm-hmm. And now it's like, but she was literally like, you're supposed to be making calls at that time. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Because I'm like, the meeting that you rescheduled was supposed to be the meeting that we discussed all of this, but you rescheduled it.
It's like, oh.
Because who was on the Zoom meeting waiting? Me. You weren't there because you sacrificed a couple of your 24 hours for Black Belt. Right. So I'm like, you just all around just sucky leadership and sucky execution. Like the style of it. I don't like that style. Like, even bringing it down to our relationship, how there would be times where I was testing you, and then because you don't know it's a test, you're just thinking this is a regular day, a regular thing that she didn't ask me to do, and I get mad at you because of that test result. And I'm like, I'm telling you, take the garbage out or some silly, simple like that. And I'm like, I wonder if it's going to be taken out by the time I get off work. Mm-hmm. And then I get home, it ain't out. And I'm not asking no questions. Why? And I'm just going with it. But now I'm upset because you failed the test. You didn't take the trash out like I said. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's not cool. I needed to say, hey, this trash has been sitting for a few days. It's going to upset me if you do not take this out. So could you make sure that you take the trash out? And then when I get home, babe, I asked you to take the trash out. Can you please take that out before we go to bed tonight? Simple as that. And I'm like, that's not the way that you should go about relationships, friendships, jobs, leadership, anything. That's not the way to go about it. Like
passive aggressiveness is just something that's just shit because it just sucks. It sucks so bad, and we all do it. I do it every day. Like we all do it every day,
especially if it is a job and the people you're testing don't got no experience.
Yeah, don't expect I've never actually been managed like that. I've seen a lot of reasons for like failures management wise, but I've never seen a passive aggressive management. That was my first ever in that way. Like I've seen passive aggressiveness on like a small scale, but you're passive aggressive with your whole style. You guys are having meetings together. Like, cause I remember when we were discussing the interviewers, like, cause they had me be in the panel that were helping them pick their interviewer. And the things that they were discussing just seemed like things that didn't, cause they're like, did you see her tattoos? I'm just like, I wanted to hear about the story she told about, how she, started liking to do, sales and stuff. But even the things, they were just always on some weird time. Weird. But man, like, I just hope you guys got to listen, like, from Nita go from, I don't know, I'm just kind of in a not talking mood to like, just going like.
And it was low-key making me have an attitude because I'm like, I don't want to talk. And now he's like,
that's the easiest way to go. That's the easiest way to go.
First of all, when you told me, he was like, what's the topic? And I was like, and then you were like, well, you don't have to. And, you could just, you don't have to write it out or anything. You just tell me and I'll go from there. And then get here and you're like, you can go ahead and lead it. I'm like,
finally, I can be saved. Light outside, but it seems late. Beta part of me in my dreams. Wait till we burning up like a heat wave. Promise me that you'll be. Hey, would you follow?